Hello everyone, I am here today with a flip-through video. This is my album for my day trip to Chicago in November of 2025. And as you can see, it's smaller. This is a 3x8 album from Studio Calico. It's black, but then it has this fabulous rainbow pattern inside that I absolutely love. So I am showing you just the first part. I think it's going to end up being 3 parts, maybe, because we packed a lot into this day. So this is just part 1. As you can see, I've got my opening page here. I decided to use some paper I had that was specific to Chicago. This is the part of the street grid. So right here is Navy Pier. So I thought that was kind of fun. And I just added a simple Chicago sticker that I had on a sticker sheet that I've had for, I don't know, probably about a year. I'm there a lot, so it makes sense to have those. So I used one of those. And then I decided to just handwrite in the date rather than stamping. Sometimes I use a roller stamp. But because I was only there for 1 day, I thought, you know what, I can just write it in and it's fine. So next I have just an explanation of how we planned this trip. It was both my friend Robin and myself, and we got just super cheap flights on Southwest to Chicago for both of us. She was coming from St. Louis, I was coming from Minneapolis, so works to meet in Chicago a lot. So when there are cheap flights, we're going to jump on it. And we were lucky enough to find one that did not even require us to stay overnight, which is awesome. So we have that there. I did use this sticker. I bought this in a shop in Andersonville when I was in Chicago over the summer. So I got to use that too, which is fun. And I think I bought 5 of these. This is the only color that actually is not a line of the L. There's no black line. So I bought that as a generic, and that's how I was able to use it. But then I did buy orange, green, red, and blue, I believe, because those are the ones. Red and blue are what I take most often, but the others I knew I would use, like oranges from Midway Airport, which I actually did here. So I know I'll use those at some point. But then here you can see this was my flight. I had to be at the airport quite early, so I was there at 5:45 a.m. It was still dark outside, but then here's me soaring above the clouds on my way to Chicago. And then this was looking out my window. Luckily, there were seats open on the side of the plane that I wanted so that I could see the loop area of downtown Chicago there as we came into Midway. So that's always fun. It was a little hazy that early in the morning, as you can tell. And then here I landed at Midway, and I hadn't really noticed this sign before. There are multiple places where there are different signs saying welcome to Chicago, or they feature Chicago in some way. I hadn't really noticed this one before, so I thought, all right, I'll take that. And it just happened to be that this same art piece was featured on a postcard that I had. So I figured, well, I'm going to use that as an insert and put that in there. And then here I had a chunk of paper that just happened to match kind of my orange-ish, at least, theme that I wanted. So I was able to use that as well. I had a clear acrylic piece that said November. I don't travel in November usually a whole lot, so it was nice to have that available and be able to finally use it. Did some quick stamping from one of the Chicago sets I have. And then over here, I love this card. I've used it for many a trip to Chicago, but this time I decided I would put in a train car. And this color kind of matched the platform here, so I was like, well, you know what, I need to bring in some other color other than orange and black. That's kind of boring, so it worked well that I could fit that in there. So here is one of the other stickers I mentioned. Here's the green sticker, because we needed the green line to go out to Garfield Conservatory, so that's where we're going next. So I just journaled about that. Pretty easy. And then this layout I did in Canva with a template that I had. So I dropped in all my photos. I dropped in 2 digital papers I had, and then all I had to do is print. And I will say, when I do 3x8s, I print those at home. I have not found anywhere that prints those to send them out. So I just print those on my own printer at home. And then all I had to do was just embellish. So a pretty easy layout since it was done mostly digitally. On the back side, I have another mostly digital layout. So I also did this in Canva, dropped it in there. And then really all I did was add stickers, because both of these pieces they're the same sticker. They were from a 12-inch border sticker that I had. So I just cut those down to fit in those spaces. And then this Actually, I just realized, I think these are they were from a 6x8 sticker book, so they're not 12x12, but they were probably 8 inches. So I was able to cut part of them that I had and use them. And then this sticker came from that same sticker book. So luckily it all matched. This one as well, you can tell these are from the same set. Really just kept it simple, slapped this on there. Since I already had something that said November, I thought, well, maybe I should add something else. So I put the odd one on there. I love that it's multicolored so that not everything is, yellow, green, or brown. And then here, as we were moving through the conservatory, I love their desert area at the Garfield Park Conservatory, so I wanted to showcase that. I just happened to have a card that matched. I love this yellow tone here. And this is an old one from Cocoa Daisy. I don't remember what set it came from originally, but I never used the card. I've held on to it till now, so I'm happy that it made it out of my stash. And then on the back side, it had something else that still said November, but I didn't like it as well, so I just covered it up with another photo from the area. So kind of a fun insert to do there. And just one little phrase. And then over here, another digital template done in Canva. Dropped in my stuff, picked a paper that matched. I didn't have something that matched this perfectly, so I just tried to get close, and I think it's fine. And then here, again, I just added another phrase similar to what you see here and here. They were all from the same sticker set, and it was from Creative Memories. And then on this side, another digital template, but this one was even easier because all I had to do was drop in one enlarged photo, and I loved this one from the conservatory still, so I dropped that in, and then I did stamp here. That's not part of the layout. I stamped that. I used Stays on ink to do that, and I just added this thing, marked that we were there in the morning, and then I had some stickers that had both cactus and succulents on it, so I just chose one of those. And when we were done on the inside of the conservatory, we did walk on some of the paths outside for a little bit. So I took a shot of my friend. You can kind of see the trees were nicely colored there still, which was fun. And then I just liked this beautiful plant that was outside. It felt very fall to me. And then here we had seen this food truck when we went in, and we weren't hungry enough yet, but we said, if it's still there when we come out and we're ready for lunch, we're going to eat. And we were, since we didn't really have breakfast, we're like, you know what? We are ready for this lunch. It was fantastic. I had a carnitas burrito, so I wrote that on there and attached this. This is actually also my first photo flip in the album, so you can see, luckily I had some food truck related cards, so I was able to use them here. Love that I finally got to use that one. And then this, I just found this little piece of ephemera and I just stuck it pretty much in the middle, pretty close. When we were done at the conservatory, we had our whole day pretty well mapped out just to make the most of our time from a logistical standpoint. So we knew we were off to the Michigan Avenue area, so we have to be down by the river, and we wanted to walk there a little bit before we jumped into our next set of things. So here are just some nice river shots, kind of overhead. We were up before. We didn't do the actual river walk till later, so we didn't go down by the water at this point. We stayed up on the bridges, basically. All I did here was I put in a big sticker that I have. I have quite a few of these left from a set. I think they're from Citrus Twist. And because I do pockets, like, it's hard to use some of those bigger ones sometimes. So it was perfect that I could fit it in this spot and call it good. And over here, another single photo template in Canva. So I just dropped in the building. I wanted it to be long and narrow. That suits the building very well. So that was perfect to be able to drop that in there and then just talk a little bit about the fact that I love the architecture in Chicago. I don't get tired of it. And then we were off to stroll up and down Michigan Avenue for a while, and they had some Day of the Dead things out because it was November 1st. It was Day of the Dead. So got to have this huge candy skull, which was super fun. This was done in Canva as well. I just dropped this in here, changing the color. It was black to begin with, and I didn't like that. I wanted something brighter, so I was trying to kind of match this bright pink there. So I have that. Over here, another digital template. I tried to use quite a few of these so that I could cut down on what I was including. It gives me more space. Generally speaking, I can fit more on it. I tend to keep them relatively flat. So this was something I dropped in, and then I added the geotag, and then down here I just added these 2 phrases and did staples on them. This was actual paper, digital paper that I had that I was able to drop in, and luckily it kind of worked with the theme. On this side, another digital template. So this one was more, I don't want to say a challenge, but it was interesting because there were more slots to fill. So I had to be selective about what I put where. So I liked that this one kind of incorporated all the colors, and it's hard to see here, but there are actually very, very faint lines on the tag. I chose to just cover them up with the sticker that says fall because I didn't want to have to journal on here when this paper is slick. I do have a slick writer, but I just didn't want to bother with it. So I just chose to put that little sticker there and call it good. And then here I had a digital card dropped in as well with a little saying, and I just added that tiny little leaf in black and white. And over here, this is one of my favorite layouts. This was at the Intercontinental Hotel. They basically change their decor outside with every season. So this was their fall stuff that they had going on. So I just cut some photos down to fit in this pocket. I used this big pumpkin sticker I had. And then the best part was using my sequins. And I have to show you, I'm going to zoom in to show you the sequins because they're leaves. So I had all the colored ones already. I found these leaf ones. Oh, where did I get them? I think it was from Cat Scrappiness, but I bought them online. When I saw them, I'm like, I have to have them. I will use them somewhere, and it was perfect for the fall theme. And here's the back side of that layout. I loved this big squirrel that they had out there, and so I just tucked in some acorn embellishments, did a little sticker that I had from that same sticker book as some of the others. That thing has been totally worth the money. I've used so much of it already, and I will use more. Then here you can see how the sequins look from the back. And then on this side, we just happened to be walking down Michigan and noticed this. I don't know exactly what it was there for. I'm not sure if they had it up like for breast cancer awareness, because I saw some other things in different cities that they might have been doing, but it was November 1st, so I kind of think maybe it's permanent. But I loved it. I had to have my picture taken in front of it. And then I just picked stuff to go with it. Like I had purple on. This was kind of a shade of purple. I had something that matched that perfectly, so why not use it? Continuing on for Michigan Avenue, this was actually just right outside and down a little bit from the Intercontinental Hotel. So we got to see all these different pumpkin displays that were done up for autumn. And then I did, this template came blank. I added that in. So this is actually a digital element that I have printed and used as a physical element elsewhere. But here I chose to just drop it in digital. And I think it came out quite nicely. And then I chose to cut down some of the border and then have this plaid paper behind it. I just loved the look of it with these colors. And then here, I'm honest, I really just wanted to use this card because I thought it was cool. And I'm like, you know what? I have all these pumpkins that are on display. Why not use it here? So I did that. All I did was outline the different sections. I just did black journaling pen around it and then stuck on this phrase sticker, and that's it. And for the back, I had this beautiful card. And originally I was going to journal. But I'm like, you know what? I don't think I need to. Like, I don't need to say anything about this. We're kind of just looking at beautiful things. Like, it's self-explanatory. So all I did was I put on this little pennant piece here. And then this sticker, because it did look like harvest time. And then I thought this in particular matched really well with these colors. So I just dropped in those 2 photos. And then here, all I did was say walking. Because that's literally what it was. We were just walking down Michigan Avenue and we got to see these lovely things. And that's actually the end of part 1. So that's why this is here. It shows my divider where to stop. So if you've enjoyed seeing this from my day trip to Chicago, I hope you'll come back for part 2. Thanks for watching.